In this video, we're replacing our outdoor light fixtures. The cost per fixture was $65, and since I had a total of 6 outdoor fixtures to replace, I spent a total of $390 before tax. It took me about 40 minutes, on average, to replace one exterior fixture. We found and installed an outdoor light fixture that had a mounting deck no larger than our vinyl mounting plate. Our vinyl mounting plate measures 6 inches high by 5 inches wide, and the fixture mounting deck is exactly 6 inches high by 4 3/4 inches wide. Links to this fixture is in the description if you're interested. The tools and items needed for this project are a voltage detector or voltage tester, a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver, and/or a drill with a Phillips and a flathead bit, pliers in case you need them to remove the old fixture nuts, wire strippers, just in case, wire cutters, also just in case, a ladder, and the new light fixture. First, turn off power to the light at the breaker panel. It's good practice to not only turn the wall switch for the light off, but to flip the breaker as well. We'll use a voltage tester later to confirm there is no electrical current once we expose the wiring. Outdoor light fixtures often use cap nuts threaded onto mounting screws to secure them. To remove ours, which could not easily be turned by hand, I used a pair of needle nose pliers to loosen the cap nuts first and then pulled the fixture away from the mounting bracket screws. A pair of slip joint pliers would have been easier to work with, but I used what I already had on hand, which were the needle nose pliers. With the wiring exposed, use a voltage tester to confirm there is no electrical current. Pull the wires from behind the mounting bracket, and while holding the fixture, unscrew the wire nuts. If the fixture has a ground copper wire, unscrew its wire nut last. My father-in-law has a phrase for remembering the order of making and undoing electrical connections, which is that the ground wire is like a pair of underwear. It's the last thing you take off and the first thing you put on. After removing the fixture, the copper wire can be freed from the ground screw and the mounting plate can be removed from the light box. It's a good idea to save the screws from the old plate in case the new provided screws don't fit the holes in the light box. You can trim any excess length from the black and white wire tips to ensure full coverage with a wire nut. Before installing the new mounting plate, there are 3 things you can do to ease the rest of the installation process. Number 1 is to adjust the mounting screws so that a shorter thread length protrudes beyond the mounting plate for the fixture. The cap nuts for these screws are often pretty shallow, so in order for them to firmly hold the fixture in place, you may need to adjust the mounting bracket screws as well, so that less thread is available beyond the mounting plate. Number 2 is to insert most of the white and black wires into the light box, separating them to position one on each side of the fixed mounting bracket piece. Number 3 is to loosen the ground screw to provide ample thread space for connecting the copper wires. It's easier to loosen the ground screw at chest level rather than reaching above your head to do so later. Attach the mounting plate to the light box. I used the old screws since the new ones provided were actually larger than the holes in our light box. Wrap the light box's copper wire tightly around the ground screw in a clockwise direction, using pliers if needed to help pull the wire closer to the screw. Wrap the fixture's copper wire clockwise around the ground screw as well, and tighten the screw, making sure that the screw head is covering both wires. Going back to the underwear analogy, the nice thing about starting with the ground wire is that once the fixture's ground is being held by the green ground screw on the bracket, you can let the fixture hang and use both hands to make the remaining connections. Twist the end of the fixture's white wire to bring the strands together. Line up the end of the light box's white wire to the end of the white wire from the light fixture. I pre-twist my wires, but you do not have to. While holding the wires with one hand, twist the wire nut onto the wires with your other hand until the wires begin to twist together at the end of the wire nut. To ensure a good connection, I continue twisting until 2 loops are formed. Repeat the process if any wires pull free until all remain secure when gently tugged. Repeat the process with the black wires. Keep in mind that you may need to use larger wire nuts from the ones that are provided with the light fixture if you have 3 to 4 14-gauge wires to connect. At this point, you could optionally wrap electrical tape around the wire and base of the wire nut to help secure the wire connections before tucking them back into the light box. Align the fixture's holes with the mounting screws, and before securing the cap nuts, ensure the fixture is correctly oriented. After my third light install, I went into autopilot, but quickly realized I was about to install the fixture upside down. After tightening the cap nuts, make sure the fixture is securely held in place. I realized that one cap nut on my fixture wasn't tight due to the mounting screw nut coming loose while I was tightening the cap nut. So to correct the issue, I used a wrench to tighten the mounting screw nut. Install the bulb, making sure it doesn't exceed the max wattage stated on the fixture. Install the remaining exterior of the fixture if yours requires additional assembly. If you're installing the same fixture, you'll notice there are metal clips that come with the frame that are intended to help hold the glass in place. I removed them because at the time of install, I could not figure out how they were used. There wasn't enough room for both to fit below the top of the glass, and having the clip angled to cover the edge of the glass just didn't seem practical. The installation instructions didn't actually clarify their use either, so I opted to not use them at all. With the fixture fully installed, turn on the power at the breaker panel and flip the light switch. The light should turn on, but if not, turn the power for the fixture back off at the breaker panel and double check the wire connections. Hopefully this video helps or inspires you in some way. Thanks for watching.